Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Powerpuff Girls Defenders of Townsville. This is a game by Radeon Games. They licensed it from Cartoon Network, as is obvious by the giant Cartoon Network logo. So this is, obviously, it's a Powerpuff Girls game. If you're not familiar with the Powerpuff Girls, they are three girls that were created from sugar, spice, and everything nice, and Chemical X, which gave them superpowers. So in this game, you get to play them, each one of them. You play all three of them, you can control all three of them. So let's hop into the controls here. And so you can see here we've got our different buttons that are totally rebindable. If we hit help, you've got your previous and next girl, so you can switch between them at any time. You've got your different attacks, you've got an attack switch, you've got dash, you've got your pause menu, and of course, not sure where to go, use the map, pause. So there is a map, and then your standard movement. The controls in this are actually really good. I really find them to be quite tight. There's nothing overly annoying about the controls. So, and it works great on keyboard and controller. I currently using a controller for it because I prefer it. I personally prefer the controller. So here's your graphics options. Nothing too spectacular, but it is a 2D metroidvania style game. It doesn't have super heavy 3D graphics, so it doesn't have any 3D graphics actually. So this is really all you need. And then you've got your advanced configuration. So you've got your particles. I have it at the highest. You've got this pixel effect for when you're in classic style, and we'll get to that in a minute, which it doesn't work because I'm in modern style right now. Your soft bloom, level contrast, and background blur, which are only available in modern styling. So that's pretty much it. Ooh, didn't mean to do that. And then in here, you've got your sound effect volume and music volume and language, as well as you can choose your visual style. So you can choose classic or modern. So classic, let's head back here. That is, growing up, probably what you knew the Powerpuff Girls to look like. You know, bright, high contrast colors. Then you get the new modern style, which is more matted and pastel-y, which personally I'm not a fan of, but that comes down to personal preference. So let's hop in here. We're going to load a game, and we're going to load save slot 3, which is in the caves. I've just unlocked Blossom here. So here we are with good old Blossom and Buttercup. We do not have Bubbles yet because you have to rescue Bubbles. You start off as Buttercup and you have no powers. So you're literally walking and you can't even punch. But you gain more powers, you gain the ability to fly, and then you gain this energy wave, this energy blast. You also get a laser beam and shockwave. Shockwave is one of your special features, and it can actually go through walls. So as you can see here, these just get blocked. But this guy go right through objects, which is a key element to solving some of the puzzles. Personally, I like to use the energy blast, primarily because it doesn't use as much power, and it has a wider spread. So as you can see, it breaks up there. So if it doesn't hit anything, after a short time, it'll break up and then potentially hit 2 targets. Versus your laser beam, which just lasers. It's just a straight up laser. And then you've got Blossoms, there we go, Blossoms, which is a fireball attack, which is used obviously to melt things that are frozen. I'm gonna head back here and actually save again because it actually charges your bar. So as you can see in the upper left, I've got my heart meter, which should be fairly self-explanatory, and I've also got the star meter. As you can see with the stars, as I use my powers, it goes down, but not nearly as much as when I'm using my special attack. That just drains it. So you want to use that sparingly. So again, I'll go in here and just charge up. So those save points are scattered throughout the place. This is the world map. I have not completed it all in this playthrough. This is my second playthrough through it. So here we are in Townsville. This is presumably underneath Townsville, which is kind of one of the gripes I had. I was kind of hoping that we would actually be in Townsville, but, you know, whatever. We're currently in the underground area, kind of dungeon-y type area, and this is the starter area. This is where you start off. This is where you start getting your powers, like this way. I think you come down here, actually. Yeah. I don't remember the exact route that you took when you first got here, but this here brings me to one of my gripes. This is kind of an annoyance of mine when the foreground completely obscures part of the background. Or, yeah, I guess the foreground obscures the middle ground.
Mojo's gonna need more robots.
They did use the original voice actors. Now, this is actually used strategically, so it's not a huge annoyance, but it is a minor annoyance. I don't like it. Oh, and here's an upgrade. A health module. So overall, the styling of it is really good. The controls are really good. There's plenty of enemies to, well, destroy. And you get a bonus for clearing rooms. If you go into the menu and go over here, it gives you your stats. On the right-hand side, I've visited 26 rooms, I've cleared 13 rooms, and I've destroyed 223 robots, and I've apparently saved 8 times. I only have Blossom and Buttercup, do not have Bubbles yet, and I only have about half of my abilities, which are labeled as upgrades. Over here is your boosters. These give you added bonuses, like this one is take less damage, there's one that's do more damage, there's one that does... it slowly builds up your star meter, which either is really slow or didn't work when I was using it. There was recently an update, because like I said, I'm actually playing this on a developer build, so... or not a developer build. This is a pre-release build. It is not the final. They just released the final build before I actually started recording this. So this is about, what, maybe 20 minutes before the end of, or before it's released that I'm recording this. So it's definitely brand new. And this is why I can't really say what the discount's going to be. But I know that there's going to be a discount. Oh, yeah, I don't know if I mentioned this, the boost. This is your speed boost. This is your fast flying. There's actually a booster that boosts your fast flying, if that makes sense. And then this is where things are strategically done. There we go. There was a ball up there. You could kind of see it when down here. Can't see it now because I destroyed it. But you can barely see the edge of it when you're right about here. And you just have to destroy it, and that shuts off this barrier. So everything has a method. Oh, these things are bad because they do that. They blow up and take you with them. So that guy there is a little star up, and you can destroy these little boxes. So pretty standard stuff, to be honest. This game doesn't particularly have anything super fancy and super new. This is actually a point where the foreground and or I guess the middle ground and the background kind of get confusing. Because you kind of could think that this is part of, you know, the foreground. Projectiles can't go through it. But clearly they can. It's clearly different shaded, but in the heat of battle, you can get confused. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. But I really like a lot of the enemies. A lot of the enemies, there's a lot of different variety to the enemies. They have their own different quirks, their own different ways of avoiding them. Like these guys here, you can pretty much just ignore. But as soon as you hit them, they're destined to blow. And you want to get away. And they will take out each other. So it's kind of neat. They're basically proximity mines. It's a good way to call them. I don't know what their actual name is. But this is... Oh, we're back in the chamber where the first boss fight occurred. This is where we got Blossom. So it ended up turning into a save room. Ta-da! Good old save. Let's go... I want to try to go into... Oop. I want to try to go into the factory area. There we go. So here we are in one of the final areas, I guess. It's not really a final area. None of them are really final areas. Oh. That is a drop bomb. As soon as you're underneath it, they will release. They were attached up here. And then you've got these things here. There we go. Wow, I thought there was going to be enemies up here. Oh, and here is a point where we need our shockwave. And there we go. And perfect spot for Blossom's Fireball. A new booster, Hyperflight. Okay, so we can actually show you that one now. So if we take off the less damage and put on Hyperflight, this actually allows us to go a little bit faster. I personally don't really care for it. It's not that much faster. To me, this is the speed that the flight should be by default. But, you know, that's me. There's also an upgrade. I'm going to actually take that off because I'd rather take less damage than have the minorly faster flight, which really doesn't seem like much. But each room has its own little quirks. They're well-designed rooms. Some of them can get pretty hectic. At first, my thought was that this was probably just a little too hard for, you know, the young demographic that I would assume they're going after. But I thought about it more, and I thought, you know, when I was younger and getting into games, I would play games like Mega Man 3, which were very unforgiving. This one here, if you're good, you can dodge everything. You know, I am not good, so I get walloped. But most of the time, you can actually just avoid a lot of the enemies. See, right there, I just walked right into it. I'm a true superhero. I just plow right in. I don't care. I just go right through everything and just destroy it. So this is the whole reason to complete rooms, is to get these, you know, booster modules. It's really quite well done. And there's a lot of rooms. Like there's a whole section over here that we're missing. No, this isn't one of the final. This is the second. So we've got the underground, which is the first area you start in, then the second area, and then there's a third area over here. So yeah, we've got quite a bit more to go. About the map here, you can see pretty clearly where the save points are. You know, all those circles with the disc in it, that's a save point. Any of the exclamation marks, that's where you can get an item. So whether or not it's a clear the room to gain this item, the booster upgrade that we got, or whether it's a separate item like a skill or a booster itself. Like, is this... Yeah, this is a room with an item. So I don't know whether... It doesn't tell you specifically what kind of item it is, but it's definitely an item of some sort. And sometimes you have to complete certain other objectives in order to actually complete a room. Like you have to go in a certain way, but in order to get in that way, you have to have a specific skill. So there's some rooms where you have to have all 3 girls in order to get in, because they'll be blocked by a beam like this, but that's always on. But this is the item. See, it's gone now. These beams here, if you have bubbles, she can actually take care of that for you. She can break those. This here is a door that's activated elsewhere, so that would require me to go in through a different method or to find the unlock point. I believe the unlock point on this is actually within the room, and if you look here, you can see there's another entrance. So, this... Yeah, that one I can't get to yet. I'll have to get to the other area first. And of course, different abilities are laid out in different areas. So it's quite nice. They've done a really, really good job. They've got these save points scattered throughout the place. It's really quite nice. I really, really like the way it's laid out. I like almost everything about the game, to be honest. It really doesn't seem too challenging. It's quite forgiving, as you saw with that one guy where he was actually underneath me, but I was still hitting him. The weapons go slow enough that you can dodge them. Yours goes pretty quick. You can get an upgrade to your speed and like your projectile speed. You can get an upgrade to your projectile damage. It's very well thought out. They've done a really, really good job on it. It's, in my opinion, it's actually well worth the $7 that they want, or $8, whatever it is, $7.99. I'm really quite impressed with it. There's not a lot of tedium to it. It's quite action-packed. But I'm gonna go and say some things that I'm not a big fan of. Namely, I'm not a fan of the cutscenes. Like, I don't have a cutscene coming up anytime soon, but the cutscenes are basically just static images that kind of pretend to be an animation. Like, most of the animation is right here. And I get it, they had to do everything twice. But I was kind of hoping that the cutscenes would be pretty much like watching the cartoon. That was my hope. Actually, let's hop out of here, and we're gonna start a new game. Dude, Townsville, normal, and I'm just gonna overwrite that one because why not?
The city of Townsville, a hustling,
So,
bustling metropolis full of...
here is the
Wait,
beginning.
That's a little too much hustle and bustle. What's Mojo
It's
up to?
very, very similar to the actual cartoon.
What is it, Mayor?
But
Mojo Jojo
this is
again?
my problem.
We're on our way.
Like, I was hoping that there'd be something more than just
Beat us with those puny robots,
them
Mojo?
standing there.
We
Like,
could trash
voices,
those tin cans
their
in our
mouths moving, just something.
Wait for all that noise.
But, you know, whatever. This works. As an art style, this does work. It's just not my thing. Anyway, I'm gonna skip that so I don't give you much more of the story. And
When I find Mojo, I'm
here
gonna
we
punch you
are at
so
the
hard
beginning.
you'll kill.
You can't really do anything. Like I said, like, I am hitting all the buttons. Can't do anything. And you just go. Can't jump, can't do anything at all. And now we've got punch. And this is actually another quirk. This is another thing. You can use your B and X to punch, but it doesn't change your direction. your direction is bound completely to whatever way you're facing. And sadly, when you start off like this, when you get to the point where you can, or when you have to, pick what button, there's nothing really telling you what it is you can do. And that's kind of unfortunate. Grab ourselves a health upgrade and get pummeled. And I think this gives me my shockwave. Oh, no, that's auto map. I don't know. I don't want to go too far into this. But really, you can't do a whole lot. Like, those blocks, you get an upgrade to break them. Just a bunch of different things happen. Alright, let's head this way. You can go up as well, which just kind of drops you down. And you avoid a few of the enemies. I really just want to get to where I get my first ranged attack. And there's flight.
I forgot how nice it is to fly.
So now you can fly and pummel
Break
things.
a sweat.
And save. And now we can just avoid everything because we can just fly around it. And our upgrade for our wave should be around somewhere. I can't remember where it is. I have the memory of a goldfish. Anyway, I'm actually going to end it here. I do hope you've enjoyed. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time.